Hello everyone, welcome to Jargus Ranger Review. This time we'll be looking at the 14th episode of Power Rangers Ninja Steel, The Royal Rival. Now, we begin off with we're in the classroom and they're doing some sort of business project thing. I don't know what they do in high school these days, but I never had anything like that. Anyway, Sarah has invented a machine that can turn anything into a healthy and delicious cookie. And so she's going to be successful with her invention selling the cookies. And of course, Victor, Vincent, and Monty don't have their project ready. But of course, in old TV tropes fashion, the bell rings just in time. But they're gonna fail if they don't have it by tomorrow's class. So after school, everyone is busy trying to profit off their ideas. Sarah, of course, is extremely successful. And Victor and Monty, those two idiots, have stolen the cow and are trying to sell fresh milk to go along with the cookies. Of course, since they did this last minute, they have no idea what to do. With Victor messing with the cow's ears and its tail, trying to figure out how to milk it, while Monty is on his smartphone trying to look it up how to do it. But before he warns Victor not to do it, it's too late. He gets a face and, his whole front body covered in milk. But then a cop shows up and just has him follow him because there's a report of a stolen cow. And Victor tries to play cocky. Oh no, I just found it by a fence. I thought it was lost. And he's still trying to profit off it. That don't make you sound any better, you stupid kid. Well, at least he's a little creative. And he is playing on the situation. However, Sarah's activities have to be called short because Redblock contacts the Rangers saying that they have a monster on the way. But Mix stays behind and mans the cart for them. I mean, they're just chopping up just a bunch of random vegetables to make their cookies. But people are loving them, so I guess it works. Sarah's gonna be great in business one day. Now, our monster team comes in two pair. One is a human-looking princess called Viera from the Lion Galaxy, and her bodyguard, Drillion, which is our real monster of the week. And they're going on to destroy the Rangers on their Warriors show. I just forgot the name at this second. Anyway, to prove that they're strong because there's some people who think that she's a weak leader. Which of course means she watches Drillion do all the work while the Rangers fight. But since she wasn't in the fight and one of the attacks deflected from him was about to make her fall, Sarah catches her with some ninja vines at the last second. And at that point, she retreats for now. And when Galvanex tries to give her crap for it, she says, "No, I'm smart. I'm studying my enemies so I can crush them." Then he whispers to Drillion, "If she studies the Rangers and decides not to destroy them, you could do it and you'd be the next ruler of the Lion Galaxy." So already we got a little bit of scheming in the background. So meanwhile, Sarah is back at her cart wrapping things up, closing business for the day. When Viera, in a more human-looking disguise, because before she was covered in a bunch of armor, but you could still see her face. She doesn't have any money, but Sarah offered her a cookie sample anyway. And then some kid grabs the box and runs with it. And Viera chases him down. She has some sort of transferring ability and just becomes a carpet or a rug and trips and wraps him up. And she's holding a tight hold on him when Sarah catches up. But Sarah demands that he be let go. And Viera is extremely militant about it. She refuses to, but eventually relents at Sarah's request, and Sarah asks him why this kid did it. And he says, well, it's to help feed his sister because his family's poor and he had to drop out of school to help make ends meet. So Sarah just takes him to a cookie machine and says, "You know what, you can take it, use it and sell some cookies, you need it more than I do." And Viera was extremely shocked about that, because where she comes from, she says that might makes right. And you make sure your enemies are punished. But Sarah says, you don't always have to punish people. Sometimes what people really need is help. And then Viera says, yeah, I've always felt that way too. And that the way I've done it was wrong. So that was wrapped up really simply. But she does mention that she could have used her abilities as a Power Ranger to destroy her. Now up until this point, no one has ever seen the Rangers in a civilian form. All except for Brody and Levi, or Aiden. So how did anyone know that is anyone's guess. Especially since Viera was just brought on from a distant galaxy, she would have no idea who that is. Minor details. So Sarah gets suspicious, but then the princess defends her when Drillian attacks, accusing her of being weak. Then the other Rangers join the fight and Viera runs off, says she'll be back for some help, which means the Rangers have to fight the monster on its own. And it's doing a really good job at deflecting their attacks. Even crushes a couple of their stars. So he's pretty powerful, and everyone on the ship is looking for the princess. They don't want her to escape. And Galvanax just takes it to the next level right away. He instantly has them gigantified in the middle of the fight. Now in line he gets some Skull Gators in the midst too. So that's just great. Not looking good for the Rangers. I mean, they go straight to the Ninja Fusion Zord, it destroys the Skull Gators, but Drillion is able to keep attacking with his claw, and it breaks up the Zords. So, what now? Well, fortunately, what looks like a big Lego red and yellow lion flies down from above and starts shooting it with lasers. It even runs on the ground like a tank and attacks it. And that's Princess Viera's own vehicle right there. So she's taking out Drillion herself. But she gets shot down and crashes somewhere else. And Drillion escapes for the moment. Now in the aftermath of the episode, well, it's showing her walking away from the wreckage of her crashed ship. But more importantly, in class, Sarah says she can't continue the project, she's going to get a failing grade. Until that kid comes in at the last second. He really knew where to show up. Says, no, don't fail her, she gave it to me so I could feed my sister and come back to school. And of course our teacher's so impressed she gives her an A. And Victor and Monty, of course, are nowhere to be seen. And so we end off the episode with those two at the police station. And they're trying to be identified at who the thief was. And the witness they're using is the cow, which is just lazily moving its head back and forth. But of course those two just break down crying, because that's what they do. And that's how the episode ends. This was a pretty good episode. Though I had to rewatch the fighting a few times because at some parts it just seemed to go by so fast I wasn't sure what happened. So that is a criticism of this, because I should be able to just watch the episode and be able to watch the fighting without having to keep a laser focus on my screen. But the ongoing story was pretty decent. I mean, Princess Viera's acting was just it was very stiff, but Power Rangers rarely has an extremely good acting in it, with the episode of Brody and Aiden a little while back being a big exception. Anyway, this was a good episode, and it's definitely setting something up for the future, and I want to see what that is. And the thing with Victor and Monty, they're not their usual charming selves. It seemed like they were just shoehorned in because they have to be in every episode. Even though they are funny, that one just sort of fell flat for me. But overall, check out this episode. It's pretty decent to watch. Just when the fighting starts, don't take your eyes off or you might miss something. So why don't you tell me what you thought about this episode in the comments below. But until then, and until we meet again, I'm Jargus Ranger, and thanks for watching. Let the power protect you.
Steel.